and X for the WWHEM machine. YL only net will start momentarily. WT8M and X clear.
Good evening and welcome, ladies, to the While Up Net. This is Melanie AG for While Net Control. Weekly Nets, check out the new While Up Net Facebook group. During the net, be sure to join us in the NFARL Do Drop In chat room by opening any web browser and going to nfarl.dodropin.org. Just put your name, call sign in the box, and then click Login. Whiles who would like to check in, give us your call sign, name, and current location. And don't forget that there is a 3 to 4 second delay when transmitting through Echolink, and there are several repeaters and reflectors also connected with us, so that gives an extra little bit of delay. This is Melanie, AG4YL. We will now begin taking check-ins. Please call now.
M2RJ, Rhea in New Jersey.
KC8UFV, Chrissy, Toledo, Ohio.
KC9YL, Ann in Wisconsin.
To Alpha 3 Whiskey Hotel Uniform, Carol, Hamilton, Ontario, Canada.
W5MQC, Michelle, Oklahoma.
1 United Lima, November, Nisi in Massachusetts.
AB7BS, Sarah in Washington State.
AE7MB, Margaret, Battleground, Washington.
KC8PKY, Linda, Knox, Indiana.
KM4AAQ, Yolanda in Decatur, Georgia.
Kilo Bravo 4 Radio Mike, Rosemary in Texas.
Okay, I think we've got everybody, or at least just along the way to go ahead and pop on and check in a little bit later on. But so far this evening we have Rhea N2RJ from New Jersey, Chrissy KC8UFV from Ohio, and KC9YL, Wisconsin, Carol VA3WHU from Ontario, Canada, W5MQC Michelle, Oklahoma, KA1ULN Nisi, Massachusetts, AB7PS Sarah, Washington, AE7MB Margaret, Washington, KC8PKY Linda, Knox, Indiana, Yolanda KM4AAQ from right here in Georgia, and Rosemarie KB4RM, Texas. Good evening to you all. Let me go ahead and give it one more shout out for any more check-ins here before we start the net. Please call now.
This is KN4BVO, Stephanie and Marietta.
N5KUO, Judy, Oklahoma.
KC1GNS, Ann, New Hampshire.
Okay, sorry about the delay there. My computer is acting weird, and you know, it's always something. It's just the way it goes sometimes. Okay. RF, and I didn't get the entire thing. I'm trying to work it out. It's one of those days. Everything was just a little harder today than it needed to be. So, the first YL that came in, I'm trying to use my logging program and it's just jacking up on me. I did get N5KUO Judy from Oklahoma. Good evening to you. And KC1GNS N from New Hampshire. Is that right? I think so. I don't know. KN4DVO, Stephanie, thank you. Thank you, Catherine. That's what I needed. What do I know? All right, thank you very much, Catherine, for that. So, Stephanie, we got you in a log right here in Georgia, and I'm correcting all my weirdness that's going on here. Good evening, ladies. Welcome to the WildOpNet. For those of you that do join us throughout the evening, we'll try to say hello to them. Everybody just feel free to chat in the Echolink chat room and also over at the Do Drop In chat room. Catherine has put the link up there, but maybe she can drop it in again, or I can do that actually. We're going to go ahead and drop that link in again for those of you that have joined us. Because the chats do not carry over. There you go. NFARL.dodropin.org. Just put your name, call sign right in the box there, and you'll be in. You'll be logged in. And it's a bigger chat room. Lots of fun over there. Catherine, AC4YL, will be monitoring it and will let us know what's going on. And fortunately, she's going to keep my back together today. She's also going to be recording this to put this up on a Facebook group. So let me pause for a reset. Another mention that we said in the preamble, but you're always welcome to, after the net or any time. It's the, not during the net, I guess you could call it, the YLOpNet Facebook group. You can go to Facebook and search groups YLOpNet. That's YLOPNET. And only YLs can join. So just put in a request to join, and either Catherine or myself will check it out and get you approved. Usually pretty quick. We try to do it. Sometimes it takes a couple of days if we're just not on top of our game, but in cases like this evening, anybody listening to this that wants to join, we'll try to get you in there by the end or right at the end of the actual net here on Echolink. And Catherine has put the link in the Echolink chat, and I can only assume she's done the same over at NARFL. I will not be monitoring NARFL. I just can't. I'm not that coordinated. But I will say this. A few of you have come up with some really interesting topics that I would love to kind of explore. However, I am not the one to do this because I'd like to learn about these topics too, and I certainly don't know a lot of them that you guys want to know about. I want to know about too, let's put it that way. So there was a few requests for some different things for us to talk about and some different topics that we could approach and kind of bring up. And I think I think it was July 12th on the Facebook group. Was it the 12th or the 17th? Oh, rats. My computer is just so dang slow today. I don't know what's going on. It's not a full moon yet, right? Now, let me pause for a reset. Okay. I found it. Cool. So there's been a lot of different great suggestions for things that, topics that we'd like to know more about, and some more things that we can bring up here on the net and get everybody involved. And we're perfectly aware, both Catherine and I, that not everybody's going to like every net or every topic. We hope, though, that you all get something out of a little bit of something out of everything. I know I do. I learned so much on this net myself, and there's a lot of us gals out there that dabble in different things. So a couple of weeks ago, we talked about contesting and some terms that would come up during contesting, and of course we like to talk about words and definitions and things like that, and I think we were getting prepared for the 13 colonies. Maybe that's what was coming up. We were sort of talking about contesting, and we also talked about the difference between a contest and an operating event. Like 13 colonies is an operating event. Then you can have special event stations, which of course are stations. Anyone can have a special event station commemorating almost anything. From there are D-Day special event stations. There are thinking of Titanic special event stations. Anything can be a special event station. Your local ham club and anniversary, they can do a special event station, and you can get a special event call. Now, you don't go to the FCC for your special event call, which is very often a one-by-one, but it can be other things. A special event call is a temporary call, and you actually go to your section manager, and your section manager is the one that will obtain and approve a special event call for you. So your ARRL section manager, whether you're a member or not. I'll pause again for a reset. When I first became a ham, I found this kind of interesting. How do these special events get these really cool call signs? And like 13 colonies with their K2 call signs, you get them through your section manager. So there you go. You want to do a special event, something you're interested in, a historic event. You can have more than one. On Marconi Day, several places do special events, and they don't, you don't have to know each other. You can work different people in different parts of the country and even different parts of the world. I love special event stations. And Dawn, WA4YL, who I didn't see on here yet tonight, she may be listening in on a repeater. She is really, really into doing special events. She loves special events, and even QSO parties. When we had the Georgia QSO party, Dawn lives in Florida. She loves it. She loves trying to work Georgia QSO party. It's especially a challenge for her because she is so close, and it's hard to work the state next door or your own state for that matter. Catherine has put up a nice little website on special event call signs here through ARL. Thank you, Catherine. I appreciate that. Just in case you all wanted to know where they come from and how they happen and how to apply for one. So if you think that's something that might be kind of interesting to do, please do that. Another topic that had come up as consideration was topics on operating portable. Now, this can go on for weeks. We can do operating portable and how to operate portable for weeks. However, just as a primer, I'm just going to jump in there and just bring a little something up as a primer for those that might be interested and want to get their feet wet, want to get a taste for it before we get into the practicalities. Last year's National Parks on the Air event celebrated the National Parks 100th anniversary. Let me pause here. And you were encouraged to get out. And a lot of people who had never worked portable before, maybe they had a friend or a spouse that said, oh, I'm going to go out and I have a national park right here around the corner. We're going to go out and do it. And I hear story after story after story. Wow. I got really excited about it because I went out with them and saw how much fun it was. And it really is a lot of fun to go out and work portable. Well, now National Parks on the Air is over. Well, what are we going to do? There's actually something that's pretty doggone cool. Although the urgency of it is out, because a National Parks on the Air event only went from January 1st to December 31st of 2016. So there was a little bit of a sense of urgency because it was going to end. And people were like, oh no, don't want it to end. I want it to keep going on. Well, you know, it's like anything really good. You kind of want to be left wanting more, and people would get tired of it with just an ongoing event, because there is an ongoing event, and it actually has more places and is a worldwide event, and it's called WWFF, Worldwide Flora and Fauna, WWFF. It's really a cool program. This program was started years ago. In fact, it was one of the sort of sparks behind the National Parks on the Air, or NPOTA event from the ARRL last year. Worldwide Flora and Fauna's motto is, make nature your shack. And it actually started in Europe. The European hams are they love their hobby. Holy cow, they love their hobby. And they're really, really into playing radio, big time. Really hardcore. And so their whole thing is get out into state parks, regional parks, anything like that, and activate them. Let me pause here. this is not a new concept, and people that knew about national parks in the air thought, "Oh, this is a really new concept. I haven't heard of this." Well, they've been doing it for years with WWFF, and every major country, I should say. Well, I don't want to say a country it's not listed, it's not major, but countries gradually kind of develop their own division within WWFF. Here in the United States, it's called KFF. KFF, and the K designates the U.S. because obviously W would be too confusing. It's KFF, and often if you've gone to spotting sites, you may see KFF followed by a string of numbers. And this is a identifier for the area that you're in, and there's approved areas, not only the national parks. For those of us that played in POTA last year, not only the national parks that we activated last year, but state parks. There's a lot of places, and they're all over the world. So not only can you work, not only can you go out and activate parks around your area or in your state or around the U.S., if you go out on vacation and you go to another country, you can go and activate there as well. But here's the neat flip. There are activators, and then there are what the WWFF calls hunters. And these are national parks in the air equivalent to chasers. They call them chasers in POTA. WWFF calls them hunters. So there's activators and hunters. And hunters sit at their station. Now their station can be portable. You can still do it park to park. But hunters find, search out, and try to make contacts with as many WWFF entities. Now you notice I didn't say KFF. I said WWFF entities, because you can work entities all over the world. And you can get really beautiful, downloadable PDF certificates for doing it. It's really quite cool. Let me pause. So Catherine was kind enough to put some really nice websites, copied them over here in the chat. The WWFF are Worldwide Flora and Fauna. And she put the web address in there, www.ff.co. We'll copy and put these all in the Facebook group. So those that are coming in on RF or that can't really watch the chats or just listening in, we're going to put all these links over. I'm going to pin them over in the Facebook group, okay? The WildOpNet Facebook group, so you can get them there. Or you can simply Google Worldwide Flora and Fauna or WWFF. She's also posted the cool awards that you can get, the global awards. They're awesome. They're really pretty. Thank you very much. Alita noted that there's 5 state parks in Utah. 5 state parks. There's national parks. There's entities. So many more than there were for national parks on the air, because obviously it's just not national parks. Also, if you played national parks on the air last year, any QSOs that you made that are transitioned over to the WWFF program, you can upload those. Here's the rub, okay? National Parks on the Air was an ARRL event, and Logbook of the World is an ARRL QSL system. Okay? So National Parks on the Air uploaded all the context up to ARRL to Logbook of the World, for confirmation and to get your activations registered and then to get your certificate. Well, they're getting better with this with WWFF, but you have managers that you upload this to, and they work it out. It takes a little bit longer. It's not as slick as Logbook of the World, but then it's something that they're working the kinks out of. Let me pause. So it's a little bit different. If you've done national parks on the air, it's a little bit different. You have to get used to it. It's not, like I said, it's not as slick, but you can still upload your national parks on the air stuff. There is no time limit. If you do not make enough qualifying QSOs the first time you go out, because you need to qualify for a certificate. If you don't make enough qualifying QSOs the first time you go out to your park, let's say it's just the bands are really, really bad, and you made like 5 Qs, and there just wasn't, and you had to go. That's okay, because you can come back. They're cumulative. They're cumulative. So they don't go by, oh, you activated this day, and you have to get this many Qs on this day. No, it's cumulative. You can take 4 or 5 trips out to the same, say, state park, for instance, to get enough Qs to consider it a valid activation. Neat, right? So it's a lot more laid back. The idea is to get out and operate portable. And you don't need a lot of special gear. You can do it with, you can take like a folded dipole. MFJ sells them pretty inexpensively, and you can put it up on the end of a fiberglass pole and bring the ends out and make an inverted V. You can use what Catherine and I did all last year for National Parks on the Air. We actually built this antenna to operate while we were on our way to Huntsville back in 2015. We thought, oh, we're going to go to Huntsville to work the ALARA table out in Huntsville, Hamfest. What in the world? There's a contest going on. Too bad we can't do both. And we thought, well, why not? We ended up not doing both because we got so busy at Huntsville. But point is that on the way back we pulled off on the side of a mountain and played radio, and it was pretty inexpensive. It's an FJ mini dipole mount and a couple of ham sticks screwed into it. You got to tune the ham sticks ahead of time, but that's it. Bring your radio and a battery, whatever it takes to power it. We'll pause for reset. So you don't need a lot to work portable. You don't need to have a lot of money. You don't need to have a bunch of technical stuff. Buddy pole is a great way. A lot of people use and love buddy pole. It's just fine. When Catherine and I went up to Dayton in 2016, they were doing an activation of the Wright brothers. It's the Dayton aviation trail. It's in front of the Wright brothers shop in Dayton, and they were doing a special thing there where you could get a slotted time and go and operate and all this stuff. Well, when we went during our allotted time, they had gotten, I guess, a little chilly and decided they didn't really matter how many people had already allotted time. They were just going to take off. So we got there, nothing. The whole setup was gone. The antennas, the radios, everything gone. We were like, well, we had a couple operating slots to play radio and activate. Well, you know what? Had a radio in the car, power supply, antenna. So we actually grabbed one of the ham sticks, stuck it on a mag mount, threw it on top of the car in the parking lot, and activated the Dayton Aviation Trail. A Dayton Aviation Heritage. Anyway, we both activated it, which means we both got 10 Qs with a mag mount whip antenna stuck on a mag mount on top of the car. Impromptu. Just hopped on and activated. Played radio out in the parking lot. Now that is fun. Okay, I'm going to tell you right now, that is just so cool. I'm kind of glad they left and we didn't do the whole, our appointed slot and appointed time and all that. No. We went and worked it out. And that is a lot of fun. Working portable, never thought would be a big thing. I'm going to tell you, it is a lot of fun. You really do, and you don't need a lot of money. So we've talked a little bit about getting out there and doing some stuff. Let me reset one more time. And by the way, those using Echolink or that are new to Echolink, go to your tools and your setup. Now, I don't know how it works with the phone. I'm not quite sure how to set the timing using either iOS or Android on your phone or tablet. But if you're on your computer, you go to your tools and to setup and to timing, and set your transmit time limit to 150 seconds, 150. They're like, well, repeaters are set to a minute and a half usually. The operative word here is usually. And also, repeaters that carry Echolink, they usually set their Echolink nodes to ditch before that. So rather than trip out a repeater or the Echolink node attached to that repeater, we like to bring it down to 150. We're pretty much guaranteed to be safe right there. Your receive time limit should be 0, or else it will time you out. You won't be able to hear. All of a sudden, it will cut you off. Okay, so there you go. Just a helpful, handy hit. Go to your system timing, transmit time limit 150 seconds, and receive time limit 0, and you'll be good to go to play on Echolink. Also, we talked about special event call signs. Catherine's put this up there, and we're going to try to remember to pin all those links over on Facebook. Operating portable, just really, it's just a really brief, just to wet your whistle. Check out these websites. Go and play radio outside. It is really just such a kick. It is so much fun. And state parks, a lot of them allow camping and overnight, unlike the national parks, which usually a lot of them close at dusk. You just have to watch the signs. But check it out. Get active. Have some fun out there. Just do a meg mount on the top. Like, you don't even have to get out the car. Just go out there and you'll be surprised. Self-spotting is cool. Putting yourself up on the cluster and the spotting networks is totally cool. So I'm going to pass this over to you, the net, and let's hear what you have to say about it. Just throw your call sign out there. I'll recognize you, and you can take the mic.
KC4WZB Mobile.
Okay, KC4WZB Mobile, I believe, was your call. This is AG4YL, and you are on a repeater that is carrying the YL UpNet through the Echolink node of this repeater. We'd appreciate that OMs stand by until after the net. The net will end at 9:30 Eastern Time, so in about another hour. This net is for whiles only, so we appreciate you standing by for just a little under an hour. But you're welcome to listen in, and I thank you for your consideration of that. Are there any YLs out there that would have any comments about our portable operation, or any of you did a little portable and want to talk about it? Any of you got a great portable antenna solution you want to talk about? Anyone want to talk about NPOTA or KFF or WWFF? Please call now.
KC8PKY.
Well, hey, Linda, go ahead, please.
Okay. Yeah, we've got a Yaesu FT1000 in our, or it's 1000 or 100, I forgot which it is. Anyway, it's in our F-150 pickup, and for a long time we had a ATAS antenna, which is one that will automatically tune. And a lot of times we'd be traveling somewhere, either between Michigan and New York or something like that, and we'd have the radio going. We still carry a couple of logbooks in the truck, and every now and again we've made some contacts that way. So it is a lot of fun doing portable like that. And we also, 2 years in a row, we did portable operation for the Michigan QSO party. And actually 1 year drove the entire UP of Michigan in 1 day, in 12 hours, and I ain't going to do that again. I'm too old for that. But it is a lot of fun, I agree with you. And with that, I'll turn it back to you.
Oh, well, thank you, Linda, for coming up with that. And, you know, that's another thing, Linda. You brought up a great point about the QSO parties. So, for those that aren't familiar, almost every state has a QSO party. And, of course, a QSO is an exchange or a conversation, depending on what you're doing on the radio, with another, from one ham to another ham on the radio. And when they have a QSO party, what this is you try to get every county represented within the state. So you try to have a ham in every county. And you, people outside the state and within the state, try to collect those counties. It's okay to work people in your state. It's even neater when you can get people that play outside the state. Now, you remember I said Europeans love radio. They love operating events. They don't care how they play it. You'll get some big guns from Europe that will play a QSO party. And it's inherently a U.S. thing. I mean, it's really, really big in the United States. As I said, almost every state has one. Those Europeans collect counties. They collect U.S. counties. That's another way to play radio for them, and they love it. So you'll get Europeans playing QSO party. And you have what Linda was talking about when she went around the entire UP of Michigan. More than likely, I believe, Linda, you were probably saying that you... Oh, yeah, you had a ham from Germany. Okay, here it is in the Echolink chat for those that aren't on the chat. Linda says, we had a ham from Germany follow us clear across the Upper Peninsula. So she was a rover. She's what you call a rover unit. She gets out there and you go from county to county to county to county to county. And you're activating every county for the QSO party. And you jump from one county to the next. Let me pause. For a QSO party is, as I said, to get all those counties activated. And then you have people that want to try to get as many counties as possible. Try to collect as many counties as possible, because this is points. The more unique counties you have, the more multipliers you have on your QSO points. So that's a lot of fun too. And as she said, it's the Upper Peninsula. For those who don't know, it's the size of a state. It's big up there, and there's a lot of nothing. In some areas, you're just going from nowhere to nowhere. So, in smaller states, they might have QSO parties. I think in New England states, I think they have a New England thing that goes on up there. I could be wrong, but in really large states like Texas and Arizona, we're getting around those states and getting every county is quite a challenge. California is another challenge when you can get the California QSO party, and you try to get each county. It's really a lot of fun. And it's a lot of fun to chase them too. If you can get a state, if you can hear a state really good, all you got to do is go up and down the band while the QSO party is going on, and you can collect all these different counties for all these different states. It's really a lot of fun. Anybody else out there want to talk about working portable or QSO parties or in POTA? WWFF, anything else, please call now.
And to RJ.
Okay, Rhea, and to RJ. Go ahead, please.
Okay, I've been in and out, but I don't know if it was mentioned, but rovers are very important also in VHF contesting. And our very own Andrea, K2EZ, has been very active in rover. And I've been on some of her rover efforts. We even won third place in the microwave sprint. And got a certificate for it. She won first place in one of the sprints. I think it was 222 megahertz. And something really interesting is that in the VHF rover categories, I believe one Weil holds the record in the sprints, and 3 spots are held by Weil. So we're out there, and it's a good way to get out. Some of the most prominent stations, rovers, were in part of national parks, as you mentioned, K7ISG being one, and also Andrea, K2EZ. So it's a lot of fun, and roving is fun with friends, I think, too, because, Andrea mentioned that, is better with company. So I'm going to try to do that more with her. Back to you, Melanie, and to RJ.
Thank you so much. See, this is why you ladies make this net. We had Linda come in and talk about the QSO parties. Rhea coming in and talking about, yes, our very own Andrea K2EZ is quite big on UHF and VHF, and I'll admit I don't know a lot about that aspect of playing radio yet. Operative word being yet. I'm still a relatively new ham, so I'm still working out, and that's the cool thing about this hobby, ladies. There's so many things you can do. There's so much stuff you can find and explore and experience and check out. Maybe you'll like it, maybe you won't. It doesn't matter. It's all about just getting out and having some fun and trying. You're not going to be bored. You're never going to be bored in this hobby, ever. There's so many neat things you can do. So, Rove, talk to these ladies. These, you want to know some more about, what it was like. Look us up on the QRZ page. We got an email on there. Shoot us an email. I'm certain none of the ladies on this net mind. That's why we put an email on our QRZ page. We'd love to talk to you about stuff. Ask on this group. After this net is over, you may use this conference and go ahead and chat amongst yourselves. And keeping in mind the usual radio protocol, this is Echolink. It still is ham radio. And please use the link. The minnow net doesn't start for another hour after we're over here. So talk amongst yourselves and ask questions and, do a SCAD or get together on email or bring it up on the Facebook group. That's what the WildOpNet Facebook group is for. It's for continuation of this net. Please bring your topics up and talk about it. Ask each other questions. I'd love to know more, and I'm glad that, Rhea, you brought that up. I'd love to know more about, Andrea's roving. I know she's really, really into it. And yes, thank you, Nisi. Please share. Let me pause. I'll be right back. Okay, so I believe Alita came in just behind Rhea, so Rhea I kind of beat her out there, but I did see her coming in on Echolink. So, Alita, WA7AL, you have the mic.
I hope you guys understand. I do have a really bad headache, but I just had to make sure everybody was going to try to do the QSO party with the solar eclipse. Everybody's all freaking out that their cell phones are going to die, especially where I live, because we are so close to having 100% solar eclipse where we live. So I will have only 93%, but that's not too shabby, considering the fact that I'm not going to have to deal with a lot of peoples. So anyway, there's ARRL has that going on for the QSO if anybody's interested in that. So I just wanted to make sure that, you know, they're doing it on 2 meters as well as the HF. So WA7AL and all the net.
Cool. Yes, very good, Alita. Thank you for bringing that up. Big event coming up, and ARL, of course, is doing something for it, and there's a lot of things going on in addition to the QSO party. The Virginia Tech is doing heading up a National Science Foundation funded solar eclipse experiment dubbed CEDAR, coupling energetics and dynamics of atmospheric regions. Really pretty doggone interesting stuff, and especially if you're kind of into the whole science thing. Why is my computer so slow? I'll tell you right now, this is just frustrating. Everything just sort of locks out. Well, I hope I got that copied. Let's see, shall we? Here's the web address. Nope, I didn't do it. Oh, that's just awful. Anyway, I'm going to try to get that up here. And thank you, Catherine. The Solar Eclipse QSO Party, are you ready? Thank you for putting up the ARRL file on that. And I do appreciate you getting that one up there. And thank you, seqp.org. Look at you, Nisi. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Nice. And where's the other thing? Okay, here we are. Let's see if I can get it this time. Oh my gosh. I don't know why. This is like cable. I have no idea why it's so doggone slow. My computer's kind of dying anyway. I told you this is the week of weeks, so my I have a laptop that I use more than anything, and I put it up here. No, I can't get it. I can't seem to copy the website. Anyway, let me pause for reset. That I use majority for everything, and yesterday I think it was, yeah, I've still got the spinning ball of death going on here. So yesterday I pick up as long as Echolink hangs in there, I'm good to go. I open up the laptop and my screen starts getting black bars across it and starts making this weird little fizzly kind of noise, very light, not like anything's actually burning, but this very light little fizzly noise, and then blacks out. And I'm like, what? Wait a minute. No. Close it back up again, open it back up again, black bars, fizzling goes out. So I run in and I grab my my monitor and bring it in to my desk here and hook it up, and in a series of opening it very quickly and trying to find the driver, the program to split the screen and change it over to a external monitor, and flipping it open and clicking, and then it fizzles out, close it, flip it open. I get about 3 to 5 seconds when I flip it open to do what I need to do, and then it blacks out on me again. So I did this about 20 times, and I managed to get my monitor switched over to where I could use it now with my laptop. So it's just it's just been just another thing this week for me. So thanks for allowing me to share. Anyhow, thank you, Catherine, for putting those links up. And what I was trying to get for you all, which everything's just kind of locked out now, is at ARRL. If they've got a news piece called "Amateur Radio Participation is Key to University Solar Eclipse Experiment." It's a news item from today, and so it's up on the ARRL website. And maybe Catherine can, maybe she can get her computer to go and her computer actually get there, because my whole browser is just locked out. I'm completely locked out of the browser. But Echolink's still working. Yay! Pause for reset. This is why ham radio is so much fun. If it were easy, everyone would do it, right? Okay, so thank you, Alita, for sharing about the QSO party, and definitely be a lot of fun. And you brought up a really good point. It's it goes back to the whole thing, when all else fails, amateur radio, and radio still will be going on. And it'll be quite an interesting experiment to find out how radio is going to work during a solar eclipse. And I think that this is I can remember when I was a kid, millions of years ago. When I was a kid, I can remember in Michigan there being at least a partial solar eclipse, and my father made a viewing a thing. You take a cardboard box and you put a pinhole in it, and it takes a little pinhole and some foil and cardboard box, and you make a viewer so that you can safely watch the solar eclipse without burning your retina. It's really quite interesting. Anyone that wants to take photos, you need filters and all kinds of stuff on there. Don't try to point your camera up there and take pictures of that thing. You're going to hurt yourself. So make sure you have plenty of filters and everything else on there. Also protect your camera. And take pictures of the solar eclipse, just to make sure you have the right equipment, and don't ever look at it directly. Use a viewer, and you can Google that and make one. You use a shoebox, cardboard box, anything like that. They can be very simple. They can be very fancy. Just you can utilize today. We have technology that we didn't have when I was a kid, but I'll never forget. It was quite an experience and quite something to share with my dad. It was really neat. So, anybody else on operating portable QSO parties, solar eclipse, anything that we've covered so far in the last 55 minutes? Please call now. Really? Okay, y'all can wake up now. Apparently. It's just that interesting, huh? Okay, sorry. Catherine, the news item is... my computer's really just limping along here. Really? It's just, I just went to arrl.org, clicked on news up at the top right, and it's like under 8.3. I can't get back there now. Everything's just locked out. My screen's locked out. Everything's locked out. Nothing's going anywhere. I think my Firefox has crashed, and lots of fun. It's a great day. Bad thing is I got tabs open that I don't think I've marked. Oh, there we go. It might just be ARRL that's dying on me. Okay. So, everybody wake up. I'm glad. Oh, that's it. Yes. Thank you, Catherine. It is. News, amateur radio participation is key to University Solar Eclipse Experiment. Nice, Virginia Tech. Neat, right? So there's a lot of really cool things going on, and I do like the special events, news, and yes, you get to keep all of your pay. We're going to keep getting paid now. Hi. All $0.00 that we make doing this wonderful thing. You know, if I got paid, it wouldn't be fun anymore, would it? I see there's so many YLs that have joined us since we had everybody come into here, and I think, oh, thanks. That's awesome. Cool. It is a tough job, isn't it? I love to do it. It's a lot of fun. Anybody else have any comments? Anything that they want to share with the group? It doesn't even have to be about what we've been talking about. I need to get something to drink. So, hey, call now.
This is a late check-in, K4 UPI, Kilo 4 Uniform Papa India. Good evening, ladies.
Well, hi there, Laurie. Good evening to you. And wow, I'm so glad that you could come and join us this evening. It's always good to hear from you. And 2 weeks in a row. I hope that this is going to become a habit because it's so nice to hear your voice. We've been talking about special event stations and portable operations and QSO parties and UHF, VHF roving and all kinds of really interesting things today in the solar eclipse and everything like that. Please come back and fill us in on what's going on with you, and if you have anything to add, whether it be something we've already covered or not, we'd love to hear from you, Laurie. K4 UPI, AG4YL, and the net.
AG4YL, K4 UPI. Well, it's great to hear you on, and you're doing a fantastic job, Melanie. I just, unfortunately and fortunately, grateful to have a super job, but it does interfere with the hours of the net. So sorry to be coming in so late, but I had a question for the net that maybe somebody would know a quick answer to, and that is, does anyone really know how the solar eclipse is going to affect those of us that are RF users? And especially with us that do dabble in satellite communication. Back to the net, K4 UPI.
Okay, well, first of all, Laurie, no, great. I know you love what you're doing, and I think it's awesome. Maybe you don't know, maybe you do. But we've extended this net. This is an hour-and-a-half long net now. So, depending on when you get off from your work, you can always join us. We're here now until 9:30 Eastern. So, yeah, we did that to get some people to accommodate the latecomers, and just because we had so much to cover in an hour, so people come and go, and some people still get on the HF net at 9 o'clock, and by the way, I don't see anything on that from Margaret. I know she was here with us. I don't see anything on. I see. Okay, so Michelle, W5MQC, says she wishes Kelly Miller was on the net. She would know the answer. She's been giving talks about the eclipse since last year. So Kelly Miller, is she a ham, Michelle, and do you have a call sign on her? There we go. Catherine, okay. So, I know you're on RF, Laurie. Catherine found a website, and it is, thank you. Nutsvolts.com. So NUTSVOLTS. Nutsvolts.com /magazine /article the-solar-eclipse-and-ham-radio. Again, that's nutsvolts.com, stroke, magazine, stroke, article, stroke, the-solar-eclipse-and-ham-radio. Okay, thank you, Catherine, for posting that up. I hope that kind of helps maybe finding a little bit more about how it might affect it. And let me pause for a reset. I'll come right back. I got another answer for you. Okay, so also, Laurie, Kelly Miller is a District 5 YL, so perhaps you can QRZ her by her name and maybe find her. I don't know how common that name is with YLs, but you may be able to find... Oh, cool. Look at you go. Kelly Miller, K5, KTX. Kilo 5, Kilo Tango X-Ray. Kilo 5, Kilo Tango X-Ray, Laurie. I hope that helps. She's been given talks on it, and Catherine has copied from the link mentioned above. We know from past experience that a total eclipse of the sun does have a big impact on ionospheric radio propagation. The eclipse duration will be long enough for those separated electrons and ions to... Catherine? Okay. She didn't quite copy at all. But anyway, it says bending on the higher frequency bands will fade and the signals will zip off into space. Those bands will close to long-distance propagation. Simultaneously, absorption at the lower frequency bands, yada, 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 yada. I think this may really help you. Long enough for those separated electrons and ions to find each other again, a process called recombination, and we'll have nighttime propagation. Wow. Well, all right. Interesting. So, there you go, Laurie. Ask the net, and you shall find it. And, Laurie, I don't know if you know about this. There is a YL OpNet Facebook page. Go to Facebook, search under groups, and YL OpNet. YL OPNET, and we'll get you in there, and I'll have all these links posted on there. But it looks like that's going to really nutsvolts.com. Gotta make sure I pause long enough those repeaters reset. So that's great. Thank you so much, Catherine, for coming back with that. And Laurie, did you copy the information? And do you think that'll prove to be helpful to you, K4UPI, AG4YL, and the net?
Melanie, that was all great information. I just want to make sure that I've copied this correctly. K5 Kilo Tango X-Ray. Do I have that right versus Kilo Delta X-Ray?
You do have that call correct, Kelly Miller. Kilo 5 Kilo Tango X-Ray. Tango Texas X-Ray. Let's put it that way. Kilo 5 Kilo Texas. How's that? Probably having a call like that. I bet she's from Texas, and her name's Kelly Miller. And then also the nutsvolts.com, stroke magazine, stroke article, stroke the solar eclipse and ham radio with spaces, or not spaces, dashes in between all those words. I think that might prove to be helpful for you as well. Anything else that you'd like to talk about on the net? Laurie, please come back, and we'd love to hear anything that you have to say, or if you'd like to update us. I know last time you were on last week, you said you really had a great time playing some radio, and you had missed it and really enjoyed getting on it. Anything else you want to come back and share with the net, Laurie? We always love to hear from you, and it's always a pleasure. So K4UPI, AG4YL, and the net.
AG4YL, thank you very much for that and for being so welcoming. I certainly do miss being on the net, and I want to congratulate you and Catherine again for the success and the vast audience that you've built up with the YL net. There's just, from the little bit I've been able to listen in the evening, I do work quite late into the evening, and that's not a complaint, it's a joy. I enjoy my work very much, so just want to let you know that your success is I'm just celebrating for you. What a great variety of ladies you've got on. I appreciate the resource information. I've been having a blast doing satellite communication. I've learned an enormous amount this past year. I'm going to let it reset. K4UPI. There have been many new satellites that have come up in both FM and linear birds, and they are quite crowded, so it's really great to see that there is a vast audience in satellite communication these days. The Chinese have put up several, and working these birds is an education. With my spouse being so active in ANSET, it's just really exciting to see all the work that they're doing, putting these new birds up, and how many people are involved from across the United States to South America and just everywhere. There's so much to learn. It's a whole new universe of radio for me, so quite exciting. And I don't want to take any more time, but I would like to say hello to everyone on the net, and thank you so much for your participation. It's been great to see its development. This is K4UPI.
Well, first of all, Laurie, you can have as much time as you want. This is as much your net as it is anybody's, and that's what this net is for. It's for everybody. Thank you so much for your kind words and your kudos. Let me say that we're very happy that you are in your element as far as you're working. We all hope to be able to make our living doing something that we truly enjoy and find rewarding, and we are glad that you have it seems that you have achieved that, and that you are really enjoying doing something that you love to do and contributing in the way that you do. So kudos to you and hats off to you for that. Thank you very much for the information on the birds, and we always, that's what this net is sort of evolving to, and that's what we really enjoy, is sharing different things and different technologies. On the Facebook group, a lot of you have come up with, we want to hear more about digital modes, contesting, getting youth involved, Girl Scouts, all kinds of really interesting topics and ideas for topics, and we love them, and we always want to hear them, and we want to hear more. And it's not going to be about a net controller sitting here and talking to you, although I kind of did a little bit this evening, just trying to get y'all's whistle wetted, so to speak, but and get y'all thinking about doing some portable stuff and some roving stuff, get some conversation going. But we'd like to hear from you, and we would like you, the members of this net, to teach or to enlighten, maybe is a better word, the other members of this net, what you like to do and how it works and how it goes on. And we would love to get with Laurie, for instance, K4UPI. Laurie and her husband Daryl are very, very involved in satellite operations. May pause for reset. And that's a fascinating. I first saw them at the 2015 field day, working the birds, and the antenna system that they use is incredible and amazing, and it's quite interesting watching watching everything happen on the computer, watching the computer programs tracking the satellites, and with the advent of more satellites out there to play radio with, it's really quite an interesting facet of amateur radio. And you can do this without having a real fancy antenna. It doesn't have to have a azimuthal tracking device on it or anything. You can actually work them, but obviously you can do more with the better equipment. You can work more, and you can work them on the horizon, etc. But I would love to have Laurie, I would love to have you come and talk to come on the net and talk to the gals here about satellites, if they're interested. And I think the Facebook group would probably agree that we're interested in learning all kinds of new stuff about amateur radio. And I think doing some satellite work, playing with the birds, would be really interesting as well. So thank you again, Laurie, and you can have all the time you ever want, and I hope you hang out with us a little bit more when you get done with work, especially now that the net's lasting a little bit longer. I haven't seen anything from Margaret regarding the HF net this evening, so I'm not sure if the weather is funky or weird, and I see she's still on here. Perhaps the band just isn't open, or she has some weather in that end, and WB1ARU is not with us this evening, usually between the two of them. Anyway, let me pause for reset, and I'm going to let y'all take the mic.
AE7MB.
Oh, very good, Margaret. Go ahead, please. AE7MB, AG4Y on the net. Go ahead, Margaret.
I keep forgetting to push the talk button. It's both 20 and 40 meters is dead tonight, or at least on the west coast. So we're going to call it an evening. And we'll try again next week. In the meantime, if the East Coast folks can find each other, that would be fine. And have a good week. So let's see, we've got a couple of weeks before the eclipse happens. Where I am, we get 97%, I think it is. So if I was to go about 200 miles south of here, I'd be in a total area. But it's going to be chaos down there, so I'm going to stay home. With that, I will turn it back to you. This is AE7MB.
Oh, excellent, Margaret. Thank you so much for coming back with that. And I had a feeling it was probably a dead band kind of a thing going on. Of course, NEYL is welcome to go to 14 288 if they'd like to, or give or take a couple, depending if there's QRM, and try to CQYL. Call any YLs that are out there and see if you can make a QSO on or around 14288 this evening. Normally, Margaret 87MB or Ann WB1ARU will come on the air on or around 14288 if the band is open, and Margaret's on the northwest coast and Ann's on the northeast coast. So usually between one or the other of them, sometimes if they're both on, they'll relay and you get a few cues going on and check in and say hello. So that's a YLHF net. Normally takes place Thursday evenings at 9 o'clock Eastern Time. Of course, any of you ladies that want to leave this net and go play on HF, we welcome you to do that. You're more than welcome to do that. And it's still playing radio and it's getting out there and getting active, and after all, that's what this net is all about. One of the questions that came up on the chat, and I was going to reply to it, but I see that I got so involved in chatting with Laurie, I didn't get there, and of course, Catherine jumped right on in and started putting up on there. The gender is not ever collected on any applications for amateur radio license. The question was, how many YLs are there here in the United States? And it's unknown quantity, and people have been trying to figure this out for a long time. Let me reset. And here's what it would take to find out. You'd need to go through every single license in the FCC database, one by one. And of course, you would have to pitch out the odd name here and there that really doesn't indicate a gender. And you would have to count how many, approximately, of course, because of name variations, how many women ham radio operators there are. So it would be a manual process. Catherine did put up a couple of interesting where is it? The link up in there. Approximately 15% in the United States, and there just isn't any way to track them. So there you go. There's kind of your answer. It's not really an answer. Nobody really knows for sure, but as of 2007. It was approximately 15%. Now, I think it's grown since then. I really think it's grown since then. And just in being out there at the Hamfest and being at the table talking to the women that are at the Hamfest, and also the participation, I heard from a lot of women, as I mentioned earlier, that got started in amateur radio and got licensed because of the National Parks on the Air event, because it started to become a family thing. So a lot of people got involved in it. I think just because of that, which I think is really neat. I mean, whatever it takes, right? I think it's cool. Let me pause for reset. So yes, 10-year-old approximation. Thank you, Catherine. Yeah, and I really would think that it would be higher than that now, higher than the 15% now. 15% for 2007 actually is pretty surprising. Now, here's Carol. Here's where it gets, and Carol's the one that posted this question. Here's where it gets kind of fuzzy. There are licensed women, and then there are active operators. For instance, my mother was licensed, but she was not active. There are a lot of, it's a generational thing too. There were a lot of women that were licensed and were not active at all. Or they might get on the repeater once in a while. There's a lot of women that carry their license and don't get on the radio. And some of them will go ahead and renew every 10 years, but don't get on the radio. My question is, how many active WILs are there? How many women are actually getting on the air? And I don't mean you have to be a contest or anything like that. This, by the way, Echolink, this is a amateur radio activity right here. If you get on Echolink on this net every week, you're an active amateur radio operator. Okay? Echolink is ham radio, and you do need to be a ham to use it. And this whole net is about amateur radio. So if you're on, you're active. And that's all that matters, is you're doing something and participating in the hobby. And you're doing something with your license. And if that means Echolink, then that means Echolink. If that means getting on the repeater and you drive to and from work, then that means getting on the repeater, whatever it takes. Be active. Get out there. Talk to people. Doesn't have to be about ham radio. Just use it. Use it and have some fun with it. And that's really what it's all about. I want to turn this over to the net. Anybody that has any comments, questions, thoughts, throw your call out there and we'll give you the mic.
AC4YL.
All right, go ahead, Catherine.
Okay, here we go. Get this thing working here. So let's see. We've had a few YLs join us. So I'll just throw their calls and names out real quick. We had Janine come in, KJ9NYL from California, so wanted to say hello to her. And Leah joined us, W3LEO from Oklahoma, joined us also. And we had, I think you already mentioned Judy earlier, so I don't think there was anybody else that we missed. And Michelle's here with us too, W5MQC. I think she's been in here for a bit. So just wanted to say good evening to those ladies as well. And if I missed anybody, I apologize, but you'll get a chance to check in a minute here when Melanie gets ready to close out the net. But Michelle was commenting too up here in the chat. There are some folks that passed their amateur radio test, and of course, let me see if I can find it. So I don't want to steal Michelle's news, so I don't know if she wants to come in and share that cool stuff or not. So I'll pass it back to, I'll pass it to Michelle if that's okay there, Mel. And if not, I'll throw it out there for her. So W5MQC, AC4YL in the net, if you'd like to come in and tell us about the test passing, it'd be awesome.
W5MQC. Good evening, ladies. Yeah, it was a pretty full exam session today. We were really quite surprised, as we haven't had a class in a few months. But we had 7 new technicians. We had one young man, drove quite a ways to come in, but he missed it by 2. We had 2 new generals and 2 new extras today. And so it was a great test taking, and everybody was like a half hour early, so it was good times. No YLs. I was hoping for some YLs, but none there. I will turn it back over to you, W5MQC.
Awesome. Very good. Thank you so much for coming back with that. And, yep, always good to have some new hams out there. That's fantastic. We were talking here on the chat about call sign on the license plate, and depending on where you are, it is sometimes it's a one-time fee, sometimes it's free, sometimes it's a few dollars every year. It really goes state by state, and there's actually a site that you can look this up, amateur radio license plate fees or something like that. There's a site out there that explores it state by state, and you can actually look at which ones actually cost you more and which ones don't. Here in Georgia, it is obscenely expensive. You have a manufacturing fee, the tag fee, then the vanity plate fee on top of that. And we're not talking tax, we're just talking about just for the tag. And it's not even an embossed tag here in Georgia anymore. All the new tags are just, that painted on with the reflective glass bead background and the black paint. Or ink. It's almost like it's ink. They print them. They're just printed, is what they are. They're not even painted. They're just printed. They come out like inkjet. But they're printed plates. They're not embossed anymore, and they're very plain. But and every year you have to pay an exorbitant rate to keep that tag. Every single year. It's not a one-time, it's not just a manufacturing fee, it's just fee after fee after fee every year to maintain that tag. And Catherine may want to pop, Catherine says about $85. Yeah, I think that's, well, you've got a vanity. What are you paying every year? Something like that. Let me pause real quick, and I got one other piece of business here. A little leery about putting yours on your car. First of all, I was leery anyway about putting an address on QRZ because they take it off your license. But I got a P.O. box, and something like that doesn't, you put your P.O. box on there, people can't really trace you, and that also makes me safer about having my address up there on QRZ because nobody can come up and walk up on the door, especially being a YL. You have to be cautious about things like that. As far as tag anonymity, there aren't. Anybody can find out anything they want to if they try hard enough. But I do get, I do understand the fear, and it's one of the reasons why I have a P.O. box, and I feel infinitely safer about having my call sign out there in whatever form, because anybody listening on the radio is going to hear you. Now, W3LEO Leah is going for her extra. That's awesome. So let's see here. I think Catherine was talking about a few things, and one of our favorite things is where is it? Hamstudy.org. Hamstudy.org is awesome. You can take practice tests there. You can look at all the questions. You can do the questions like flashcards. It's adaptive. Sign up for it. ICOM sponsors it. It's really clean, easy interface. Very, very, very few ads because it is sponsored by ICOM, and they're awesome. they're really into ham education and getting you advanced. And so anybody think about upgrading, go to hamstudy.org. Great website, everything you need on it, and it'll really help a lot. The flashcards, as I said, it's adaptive, so you get something wrong, it throws it out to you even more often, even when you get them right. It really helps enforce it, and it's how I pulled off my tech and my general at the same time, and then later on my extra. So anyway, I'm going to pause. I'm going to ask for any last-minute check-ins.
And to RJ.
Okay, Rhea, go ahead, please.
Yeah, okay. I was away for a little while, just got back. I'm going to be in Washington, D.C. tomorrow and Saturday. But anyway, that was what I was going to tell you. The ham radio plates, I think in New Jersey it's like $15 or some one-time fee. And the cost really isn't that much because they make the license plate, inmates make the license plate, they make it in state prison, so, it's cheaper. The other thing, though, is that some states require you to have equipment in the vehicle in order to get a license plate, believe it or not. And I really don't keep any permanently installed equipment anymore, because I had a big accident with one of the vehicles, and the truck with a horse trailer hit the back, and it was pretty badly damaged. So we had to take out radios and stuff, and I just haven't put back any. I use an HT with a mag mount antenna, and that's about it. So in some states, I would not qualify for a license plate.
You actually do not have to have a radio in your car here to acquire a license plate. Over.
Yes, okay, first of all, thank you very much, Rhea, for that. Interesting. I didn't know about some states requiring equipment, and no, Carol, we don't need it here either in Georgia. They don't ask you. All they ask is to see your copy of your FCC license here. They want to see a copy of your license and make sure you really are an amateur. So that's all they want to see in Georgia, is that you actually are an amateur radio operator. And as far as equipment, I got a mag mount on top of my car, and it's attached to a Baofeng with a battery eliminator and a clunky Baofeng mic that goes kerchunk every time you use it. We always laugh. Anybody that talks to me here in the Atlanta area knows that Baofeng kerchunk of that hand mic. It's really a lot of fun. And no worries about doubling. Everything's cool. It all worked out. Everything works out okay. You know what? It's 9:33. And with that, it's time to wrap up the end of this net. See, it's over already, an hour and a half. I hope you ladies enjoyed it, and I hope everybody got a little bit out of it, or were entertained, or something. I don't know. Maybe it's nap time for some of you. I'm not sure, but I do hope that you enjoyed it. I'm going to be putting these links up, or Catherine, or one of us will be putting these links up. I need to restart my computer because it's acting so weird. Everything's just kind of hung. So I won't be doing anything for a minute. But I know we're going to do a final call for check-ins, and I think I got everybody in here. And I think Catherine got everybody in here. And I think everybody's cool. I think we're all good. We're all okay. If you're on Echolink and you want to make sure we see you, just get in the chat and say something, okay? We'll know you're in there. With that, don't forget to visit our WildOpNet Facebook group. And, of course, we also like to thank ALARA for the use of this Echolink node. Without them, we couldn't have this net on this node. Pause for reset. This is AG4YL Melanie. I'll be closing the While Up Net. Returning. The ALARA conference node back to normal use. 33. See you ladies next week. And any comments and ideas you all may have for this net, it's your net. Please come onto the While Up Net Facebook group and leave some comments. If you're not a member, just request and we'll get you approved right away. If you have any questions, you may visit myself, AG4YL, or Catherine, AC4YL, at our QRZ page. We have information about she's got links for the While Up Net, and you can get our email addresses and email us. And for those of you that may not have access, our email addresses are our call signs at arrl.net. See y'all next week. 33 ladies. Good night. No.
Well, great net, Melanie and everybody. See y'all next week. AC4YL clear. 33.